You know what's funny? One country is run by engineers, the other is run by poets. And the results? China is building dozens of megacities, thousands of kilometers of high-speed railways and space stations and satellites that orbit all over, while India can't even build a bridge that doesn't collapse. They can apparently build a spacecraft that lands on the moon, but can't record a video of it happening, all while 80% of their population struggles in poverty. Think about this for a second. Xi Jinping has a degree in chemical engineering. Li Keqiang studied law and then economics at Beijing University. Even Jiang Zemin was an electrical engineer. Hu Jintao, hydraulic engineering. China's leadership reads like a who's who of people who actually understand science, technology, and systems. Now compare that to India. Narendra Modi, no verified degree. There's been controversy over whether his master's in political science is even real, or if it's just given to him by the Open University. Rahul Gandhi, one of India's opposition leaders. Philosophy. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first prime minister. Natural sciences initially, but his focus was liberal arts and politics. It's almost laughable. One country chose technocrats, the other chose philosophers and activists. And today, China has leapt decades ahead of India. Let's break this down. Why does it matter if your leaders have technical degrees? Running a country in the 21st century is like running the world's most complicated machine. You're dealing with infrastructure, energy systems, artificial intelligence, defense technologies, and supply chain networks that require deep technical knowledge. An engineer is trained to think in systems, solve problems logically, and understand constraints. Take China's Belt and Road Initiative. Would it even be possible without leaders who understand logistics and engineering? Xi Jinping didn't just wake up and say, let's build ports and railways all over Asia and Africa. His background allows him to grasp the technical and economic feasibility of these massive projects. That's why Chinese companies are pouring concrete and laying steel in places where Indian planners are still debating in committees. Now let's flip to India. Leaders with arts degrees excel at rhetoric, but when it comes to solving real problems, they're clueless. India's power grids are a mess. Its railways are dangerous. And even its digital infrastructure is riddled with scams and inefficiency. You don't need a political science degree to see that governance requires more than speeches and slogans. But I understand because at the end of the day, India is a messy democracy, and winning elections through populism and slogans is the main focus of the political elite, not helping their citizens and country develop. Let's take one clear example, high-speed rail. China built over 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail in less than 2 decades. Trains travel at 350 kilometers per hour. It's so efficient that domestic flights between many cities are becoming obsolete. That means less airspace usage and noise and environmental pollution. The train stations themselves are so massive and modern that you'd be forgiven for thinking that they were airports. India? After years of talk, they're still struggling to complete even one high-speed rail line between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Deadlines keep getting pushed back, costs keep ballooning, and land acquisition is bogged down in bureaucracy. Why? Because decision-makers don't understand technology. They see infrastructure as political trophies instead of complex systems that require planning, precision, and technical expertise. At least the person before Modi, Manmohan Singh, had an economics degree. Perhaps all the economic growth seen by India in recent times could be attributed to him and not Modi. Perhaps he laid the foundations and Modi claims the growth during his tenure. Anyway, it's well documented that Modi and the BJP changed how they count GDP when they entered office by adding goat and cow dung and changing base year calculations. And another thing, look at the technological giants coming out of China in recent times. Huawei, Alibaba, DeepSeek, Xiaomi, TikTok. What does India have? Alibragger, Deep Shit, Cowpea, and Big Talk. Now let's talk about urbanization. In China, leaders have turned fishing villages like Shenzhen into global tech hubs in just 40 years. It wasn't luck. It was deliberate engineering, literally and figuratively. They built roads, ports, power plants, and internet backbones before the private sector even needed them. Millions of rural villagers moved to work in these new cities, growing jobs, businesses, commerce, and basically everything else. But if we look at India, cities like Mumbai and Delhi are choking with traffic, pollution, and slums. Decades of politicians with humanities degrees haven't produced urban plans that work. Instead, they cling to outdated ideas like smart cities with Wi-Fi kiosks, while basic sewage systems are still failing. It's like their priorities are in the completely wrong area. Fix your cities first, make them nice to live in, not just build skyscrapers that are nice to look at while hiding slums in thick smog and overflowing sewage. But here's where it gets even darker. Education. China's leaders don't just come from engineering backgrounds, they respect STEM. That's why China produces millions of engineers and scientists every year. Indian politicians, on the other hand, glorify ancient myths and pseudoscience. Remember when Modi claimed ancient India had genetic engineering because gods had elephant heads? Hilarious. How can you guide a country into the future when you're obsessed with the past? This isn't about culture, it's about competence. When you elect engineers, you get bridges that stay standing. You get working infrastructure. You get innovation in technology, software, hardware, and AI. When you elect poets and philosophers, you get endless debates about why a bridge collapsed, but only after it already killed 200 people. Let's not forget about military tech. China has built stealth fighter jets, hypersonic missiles, and aircraft carriers from scratch. India is still begging for foreign countries to sell them fighter jets and tanks. And when they try to develop things domestically, projects are plagued by delays and failures. Because leadership doesn't prioritize technical excellence. A prime minister with an engineering mindset would demand results from DRDO, India's Defense Research Agency. Instead, Modi spends more time staging photo ops in fighter jets than fixing systemic issues in India's military technology programs. The results showed recently when India lost multiple jets in record time when facing Chinese military tech in Pakistan. Now, some people might say, but leaders don't need technical degrees, they have advisors for that. Sure. But if you don't understand what your advisors are talking about, how can you make informed decisions? It's the difference between knowing how to drive a car and being told by someone else how to drive it. Who would you trust more at the wheel? Right. Let's be honest, the proof is in the curry. In 1990, India and China were at similar levels of economic development and GDP. Today, China's economy is 5 times larger. India got smoked by China. Its manufacturing base is the envy of the world, producing over a third of the world's goods, while India is still struggling to keep lights on during peak hours. China excels in technology. Just look at Alibaba, Tencent, Huawei. India has nothing on them. When China builds, it builds skyscrapers and space stations. When India builds, it builds statues of politicians puffing their 56-inch chest out. This isn't just a story of two countries, it's a story of two mindsets. One embraces science, engineering, and rationality. The other is stuck in rhetoric, mythology, and wishful thinking. And until India changes the type of leaders it elects, until it values engineers over philosophers, don't expect it to catch up with China. Because in the real world, it's not speeches that build nations. It's science, steel, and systems thinking. So the next time someone tells you India will overtake China, just ask them one simple question. Does their leadership even know how to build a bridge? If you want more brutally honest takes like this, then please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.